Asif Azees is head of the Canadian chapter of the Tehreek-e-Insaf party of Pakistan, which is currently ruling the country, with Prime Minister Imran Khan as head of the party. Here, Asif speaks to VNN on a range of subjects. Welcome to VNN, Asif. And here today we'll talk about Pakistan mainly.
Okay. Thank you for the invite, and I'll be as candid as possible.
Yeah, of course. The first question, of course, which is on everybody's mind, especially in the Indian subcontinent, in India. Do you think Imran will be replaced soon?
There are a lot of controversies going on. There is a lockdown which is planned as well by Maulana Fazlur Rahman. And I don't think it's going to happen because the establishment in the army, they are on the same page with Imran Khan, Prime Minister Imran Khan. So I don't think, it's very unlikely that he's going to be replaced. He's going to complete his 5 years. And if you look at the democratic process and democracy in the country, most of the things, like I wouldn't say most of the things, but foreign policies and defense, interior ministry, they are actually with the army, right? The democratic government, whether it's Nawaz Sharif or Zardari, I mean People's Party or PMLN or PTI, they normally get that economic piece to sort out in the country.
But it's a strange type of democracy, isn't it? Because I think civilians should be in charge of the military, foreign affairs, defense, whatever it is.
That's
Why
true.
only in Pakistan is the army controlling these sort of key sectors?
It's very unfortunate, I would say. And it's going to change over the period of time as long as we see democratic governments move, in the right direction. Because most of the time what happens, in a way it has been going on well, because most of the times what we see, these democratic governments, they corrupt, they're corrupted, they loot money, they take the money out from the country and put the money in the Western banks and all that stuff. So I think over the period of time, the moment the stakeholders, including army and the other stakeholders, if they feel there's a sigh of relief and they feel comfortable, I think things would change and they'll have more ownership of roles, I would say.
But do you think the army will just let go of its powers? Not for the time being, I think. It won't happen.
It has happened. If you look at the history of Pakistan, go back, from Ayub Khan, and before that, it has been always the army rule throughout.
Yeah.
And only the period of about 20, 25, 30 years, you see democratic governments from 72 years, past 72 years. So 42 years are pretty much, with the rule of army and all. So things are changing. Now, for the first time ever in the country, Nawaz Sharif, the PMLN, has actually completed 5 years, and Zardari completed 5 years. This is the third time the democratic government is there, and people are expecting them to complete 5 years.
Sort of the shadow of the army chief, Qamar Bajwa, is always there on Imran.
It's Qamar Bajwa or anyone.
Everybody, yeah. But now I think he is getting especially more powerful.
He's becoming,
very strong, isn't it?
He has been always.
We have seen on television how he's herding Imran at meetings, and it looks a bit
Even
strange.
the US trip, if you look at it, whether it was Washington trip or the New York trip, he has always accompanied Imran Khan. And you would see in the high-level meetings, he was always there. As I said, and Imran Khan is a new buddy in the game. He's a cricketer-turned-politician. There's a lot to learn, and this is the first time he's into the federal government.
That's why I think
he has ruled the province.
That's why he's called a selected prime minister.
The opposition says he's selected, and it has always been the case. He's selected by the people. It's not okay. I would question those opposition folks. Well, if he's selected back in 2013, before this election, 2018. He secured the second highest number of votes after People's Party, after PMLN. Sorry, the party who secured the second highest vote is Imran Khan. So we know that if he's selected and there is a rigging process which goes into the election and it's not free and fair, as people say, then why the second number party has gained the highest, second highest vote? This is a strange thing. They have left behind Zardari and Bhutto party.
Yeah.
So So army has sensed that too in 2013. If he has shown street powers, he has done huge, well crowded, what you call jalsas and all that stuff, with public gatherings. But army was actually looking, and the establishment is looking to figure out how much it would translate into the votes. In 2013, they just got the testimony when he became the second highest vote taker.
Yeah.
And left behind Jamaat Islami and other parties. He came into the power in 2018. It was definitely given. They were definitely. He was given an indication, anyways. Back in 2013.
Do you think Shah Mahmood Qureshi will be a better prime minister than Imran?
See, Imran Khan is the face of the party. Public loves Imran Khan to an extent. He's a charismatic person. He's not popular overnight. Unlike, for example, people talk about Bilawal Bhutto. He just came into the party. He just came to the People's Party, and he was the son of Zardari, and he became the chairman overnight. There is no election. That is actually the selection, right? That is selection. In this, what you call Imran Khan's tenure, he started small. And then he grew big. How he did it? If you look at it, just go back and see his tenure. Cricketer, he won the World Cup first, and once he became, a celebrity and popular, he decided to build a cancer hospital. So
Shaukat Khana was a very, very good. I've heard of this. Yeah, good thing.
Beyond that, after the Shaukat Khana Memorial Hospital, he built a university called Namal University. And once he decided that social causes would not help him bring a significant change in the country, otherwise, Edhi, Ansar Barni, Silani, there are many other charitable and social organizations who could have brought the difference, but they couldn't. So he said, if I would not come into politics, things would not change in the country. 22 years, he struggled, and after 18 years, he got the provisional government. It's not that he was not offered in the time of Musharraf. He was offered a position, prime ministership actually.
Provincial government means he was in Khyber
Pakhtunkhwa before he came to the federal government, before he won the federal government. So Pervez Musharraf offered him prime ministership. Nawaz Sharif offered him the position when he was in power. So he was offered positions, but he refused all of them because he wanted to have some authoritative role so that he could bring significant change in the country, would shift things 360 degrees. And he waited to see all that in 22 years. So this is a struggle.
Why? I mean, some I've seen in the media, he's called Taliban Khan or Dim Khan. What's the meaning of that?
Not only that, I mean, he was also called the agent of Jews.
Yeah,
that was also
because of his wife.
Because of his wife and his association with the UK and the brother-in-laws of.
Where is this Taliban Khan connection? What is that?
So the Taliban connection, our country has. This is a dilemma where our opposition leaders, they do not see the larger picture of the country's well-being, and they just start to put allegations on others. So first they started with his illegitimate daughter, Sita White. Then they were not successful enough in that. They thought, let's find out something else. So they found out this thing. So then they found out something else. And, it went on and on. So this speech of United Nations, recent speech in New York, he actually spoke high, of Islam. And he actually spoke about not only Pakistani Muslims or worldwide Muslims, he also talked on behalf of Indian Muslims.
But he pointedly ignored the Muslims of Xinjiang. Muslims of Xinjiang, he pointedly ignored that point. China, out. You must never criticize Chinese action on Muslims.
Well, why do we have to complain about China alone if you look at the other Arab countries?
So that is being selective, isn't it?
True, but look at the other things. I mean, beside Mahathir and Erdogan of Turkey and these Malaysian prime minister,
Pakistan had no support in the US.
There was no support. I mean, all the Arab leaders, and they call OIC is autonomous body, and they have more powers. They didn't cooperate. They didn't even raise voice.
I think maybe because Imran Khan appeared as a sort of a hysterical speaker, and he was hysterical. He was loud about it, and nothing sort of very emotional. He got emotionally involved, but then that doesn't appeal in diplomacy. That doesn't count.
That doesn't count. Okay, well, see, let me tell you one thing. People say it was an emotional speech, and he was very composed initially. He spoke about 4 points generally. First was the climate change and all.
Began very well. Yes.
He began very well, right? And then he talked about very composed he was, and then he talked about Islamophobia, and then he talked about what you call
that the Western women were undressing, and he mentioned that also, which provoked a lot of mirth in Western newspapers.
That's true. That's true. And then he came to Kashmir point. His objective of this visit was to talk about Kashmir because
make it an international issue. Yeah,
it's not an international issue before this United Nations thing, because you have to understand that 900,000 troops there. They're not just making honeymoon there.
India
right?
is only 1 million army. How can there be 900,000 troops there? That itself is a wrong figure, because most of them are on the Indo-China.
Only Indian army is
1 million strong.
So 900,000, you are saying it cannot be.
Because that's
can
China.
Can we say 450,000?
No, I don't think so, because most of the Chinese border, but the Chinese border, that's what, 3,000 or 4,000 kilometers.
8 million people, Balaji, 8 million people who are there, they are going through that humanitarian crisis.
No, I don't think so. That's a lie being perpetrated.
Okay. If that is not the case, then you tell me, in this age and era, you have your cell phones, communication, and other pieces going on. They've cut down everything.
Yes.
There are no medical supplies.
No.
That
is wrong. Medical supplies are available.
No, not only that, Balaji, before you start on that, how about this media, when they wanted to intervene and they wanted to go inside?
They won't be allowed. There was a security situation. A 70-year-old law has been removed. There could be violence. The government had to act. So this is not the first time it's happening. During the Congress era also, when the Congress was ruling, earlier issues, there were internet suspensions. Now this is 2 years. Now tourism has been open. Tourists have been open.
Yes.
It'll be slowly relaxed. And now there are
tourism open in Kashmir, you are saying?
Yeah, it's been opened.
Okay, if it's open in Kashmir, then what are these complaints about 70 days curfew now?
Who said that? I don't know. Tourists, today we have reported today also, all tourists have started coming to Kashmir. It's completely opened.
There are pockets that are open.
No, of course, there are 3 districts in Kashmir which are still under lockdown, which will be until the situation improves there.
Okay, who brought the situation to this?
Pakistan, obviously.
Not really.
Because there are terrorists operating.
So, I mean, are you saying that the Kashmiris were throwing stones like the Palestinians throwing a stone on Israeli
at 500
armies,
rupees a day?
And that's why the army had to deploy the troops to put the curfew down?
No, 500 rupees a day was being paid to the stone pelters. When the money supply stopped, the stone pelters stopped.
Okay, but that's a different situation. But what I'm saying is, the situation was created by the Kashmiris. That's what you are saying, and I disagree with that.
By the
Kashmiris, who they were trying to spoil the law and order situation in the country.
Not the Kashmir. There's some of the infiltrators from Pakistan, from POK, or whoever they are. It was being engineered. There was never a Islamic conflict in Kashmir. There was never. The Hindus, they've been living together for several centuries.
The majority
of them are
Muslims there.
Now.
Right.
Originally, Kashmir.
They are at the they have reached to a point where they've started ethnic cleansing like they did it in Rohingya, and they're trying to
atrocity, the killings, and these are stories manufactured in the media by Pakistan.
Well, we understand that 220 million if living in Pakistan, and majority of them are Muslim. Same number is in India for Muslims.
We have more Muslims than in Pakistan.
More or at par, whatever we call it.
So millions of Muslims are being killed. I mean, that won't be happening. There'll be large-scale riots and things happening in India.
So
nothing is happening.
Nothing is happening. It's the version of the Indian government, right? But in reality,
the Jamaati Islami Hind have said, ask Imran, keep quiet, don't talk about Indian Muslims. It does not concern Pakistan.
He's talking Muslims as large, and
the Indian Muslims are different from Pakistan. Now see, Kashmir, all this clampdown came in Kashmir. Did any Muslims communities or organizations in India make a noise of it?
Yes,
No, they did not. They did not. There was no
Okay,
demonstration,
if
nothing.
that has not
They have all
happened,
welcomed this.
there are Hollywood stars. They have protested.
Who are Hollywood stars? Well, Indians does not bother about.
You're sorry, not Hollywood. Bollywood stars, and the Bollywood is ruled by the Muslim stars, like Khan's family. You know, they came out in protest and they said.
They did not come out in protest about Kashmir.
I can name few of them. I mean, but I don't want to because there are few who said openly that the whatever was happening there and whatever is happening for the last 70 odd days. It's not right. It's a violation of all human rights.
Okay, I think
violation
the time
of
being,
nations. Violation all the constitutional violations happening.
The time being, we'll forget Kashmir because that is that's an Indian. No, that's an Indian internal issue. Because Kashmir is off the table.
It's the heartbeat of Pakistan.
But it's gone.
After
Article 370 has been abolished, it is off the table for talks. There will never be any more talks on Kashmir between India and Pakistan. That's out. For the rest of the world agrees to it.
And the aggression, if you saw that aggression of Imran Khan, they have been trying to get in touch with Modi through foreign offices. There have been exchanges of letters.
India said no, there will not be any talk.
There won't be any talk.
On
That's
Kashmir,
why he was aggressive. So he said, Imran Khan said that I'm going to go to this, United Nations and this platform. I'm going to raise the voice and bring into the attention of the international leaders, world leaders, which he did.
But it won't happen.
And he showed his emotions there too, and everybody could see it. That's why this speech became so viral and hit because of those emotions. Normally, prime ministers don't do it, and if you look at the predecessors, before him, what they did, they have, people were just making fun of that. They have these scripts and everything. They just keep reading and they just disappear. And most of them did that too, even now. So he went spontaneous. He was upfront and he said, this is in my heart and I want to share that to the public. And he did that.
I think the best thing would be for just forget about Kashmir, then the talks can go on.
He went to United Nations to talk about Kashmir alone.
That's the thing. He should have stopped. He should have stopped talking about that. That India and Pakistan like India and China border disputes are going on for the last 70 years, but they don't talk about. They talk about it silently, quietly. Yeah. Not one shot or bullet has been fired in the last 70 years. Nothing. Talks are going on smoothly. Some small bits of borders are being marked. It will take time, but that will be done. That's what it should be done in Pakistan.
But in Kashmir, there is no bullet fired. There are no people.
Every day, people are dying.
Every day, people are dying all over the world.
No, but more in Kashmir, not on the China-India border, which is one of the largest borders in the world.
Yeah. There are people dying there too.
No. There's never been a conflict between the Indian and China sides. Never.
Look at the situation of the world, what is happening. I mean, after 9/11, things have changed significantly.
Now Turkey is invaded Syria. And who's supporting Turkey? Erdogan? Imran Khan telephoned Erdogan to say, we support you. Yeah. While now the European Parliament is meeting to condemn Turkey and to put sanctions on Turkey. Now, Iran is on the wrong side of history then, Imran.
There are a few. The problem of Pakistan is, if you look at it, after 9/11, what has happened is we were thrown into a war where our 70,000 people, civilians and women and children, they were died in this war. Not only that, the helplessness of people. What has happened is United States have clearly violated. United Nations should be more responsible. It's
about the situation in Afghanistan.
It looks like that after 9/11, basically 1939, United Nations was formed. It was formed by the Westerners for the benefits of the Westerners. So, which is what is happening. So if you look at it, Afghanistan, Iraq, then Yemen, and then Syria, then Iran sanctions.
It's all mutual fighting. Saudi Arabia goes and bombs Yemen.
No, but
why does
that was different. But how about the Afghanistan? There was weapons of mass destruction. Yeah. They wanted to discover that. They didn't find even a trace of it.
Iraq, yeah.
They killed Saddam Hussein there.
Libya later.
They wanted to kill Osama bin Laden.
Gaddafi was killed.
In Afghanistan, right? And they actually discovered him from Pakistan and in the neighborhood of army military.
Yeah.
So there, if we question, they say, well, we have the highest what you call CIA standards and what you call vigilance and all that stuff. First of all, why this has happened 9/11? That was all looks like a cooked up thing by themselves. I mean, I'm talking about that on the media.
That's like the man. There was no moon landing. That's the same thing. Saudi Arabia is not bothered. UAE is not bothered. Saudi Arabia is not bothered. The Gulf Cooperation Council. They don't seem to be.
Their oils are all sold out to these Americans. If you go back in the history, Shah time of Iran, what has happened?
Why only Pakistan gets up?
They don't have food. They will not be able to even eat food if they don't allow these US sister companies to go there and dig their Aramcos and ADNOC sites.
But only Pakistan seems to get upset. But except when it comes to Xinjiang or China.
You look at the what you call Muslim countries which have the best of the best defense. These 6 GCC countries, which is like Saudi, UAE, Bahrain, Qatar, Kuwait, and Oman, they are oil-rich countries. They have got the best defense. Iran, best defense. Egypt, they have Morsi. You have seen what they have done to Morsi. Then they have destroyed. So now, if you look at the most powerful nation with the nuclear bombs and atomic power and all that stuff, you see Pakistan standing out.
Imran keeps threatening, we'll use nuclear bombs. We'll throw this bomb.
No, it can never happen. If the nuclear war has to happen, it will destroy these two countries.
That cannot be nuclear war. It's not just.
That's why he wanted to resolve this matter through dialogue. It's not that Indian friends, we have friends Indian, we are very compatible. I live myself in Dubai and most of the times my friends are all Indians. And
all of us.
We still share in your office too, which I've seen. I mean, a lot of Pakistanis working in this office.
I was in the Middle East for 16 years. I lived there for 16 years in Muscat and Dubai. Lots of friends, everybody.
And we still share the same positivity, and we still have the same.
That's what I said. Forget about Kashmir, and everything will be fine. That's the only thing.
Kashmir is the root cause.
But that won't change unless Pakistan changes. India is not bothered about it.
My question to you is, Balaji, why don't we have a resolution on this?
What kind of resolution? That's the thing. What kind of resolution?
Resolution is that
India will not cede an inch of land.
Okay,
that's okay. That's never happens.
What we are saying is, do not make Kashmir part of Pakistan. If that is the thing, give them the rights. Make an independent
no autonomy
state.
Also. It's in the ancient times. Kashmir, it was set up by sage Kashyap. You know, in the Indian mythology, it was Kashyap, like the land. It's named for him, Kashmir. India will never give up that land.
Right, and Pakistan would not compromise on that either.
Then the situation will remain the same. The only thing is, India has forgotten about Pakistan, but in Pakistan, will forget about Kashmir.
Then, if it's not disputed, then why U.S. Trump has brought that into the discussion in Washington?
Fine, but
he said, "I'm going to be the arbitrator."
Yeah, but India said no.
India, provided if the Modi agrees.
So he will not agree, nor any Indian government will agree to this.
Of course, he will not agree because he's following the guidelines of RSS and Niazi.
Even the Congress wouldn't allow it. Neither, not the BJP alone. The Congress comes also, they will not allow any mediation.
If you look at the time of Vajpayee, Musharraf was there. They were drafting out a few things that time. And
they should have resolved it at that time.
Exactly.
But that would have meant this current border will be.
But your government has backed out. The Indian government has backed out at the last moment.
Up that point, but there won't be any mediation.
So there is a dispute, and we need to agree that there is a dispute. There are problems going on there too.
Not anymore, because now it's been part of India. It's now part of India. Ladakh is completely separate union territory, which will now it will never be part of.
Whatever the part is, but the human rights violation. I mean, give food, supplies.
That is also subject to, isn't it?
But 70 days, okay, curfew. What is the curfew about? Curfew is
only not in Jammu and Kashmir or the whole state.
Indian occupied Kashmir.
No, there's no Indian occupied Kashmir. There's only Kashmir, which is Indian Kashmir. There's no Indian occupied Kashmir. There's a Pakistan occupied Kashmir. There's no Indian occupied Kashmir.
Azad Kashmir, which is Muzaffarabad.
That is not an Azad Kashmir. It's not free. It's a Pakistan occupied Kashmir. It's not a free Kashmir.
And that is the Indian occupied Kashmir.
That is what you say, but we don't accept that. Okay, we'll forget about Kashmir to the time being. That's better. Tell us about Imran's wife, Bushra Bibi. I mean, she uses magic. And I was reading the other day. I was reading the other day that she keeps whispering things into Imran's ears.
I think you want to make this interview more interesting by bringing that magic piece in.
No. They say she's a sorceress and she practices some sort of magic, and then
not magic.
No, but I read something that apparently she keeps whispering things into his
spiritual.
ears.
It's a spiritual what you call prayers that she does. It's basically the zikr, which means zikr means that you recite more of from the Quran. It is not that she is reciting the mantra of any temple, Hindu temple. She's not doing all that. What she's doing is, if Quran has words, so she is repeating those words numerous times so that she can get the blessings.
That's like a mantra.
Herself.
That's like a mantra. It's the same thing. Mantra means the she is chanting of the same words. Also the same thing.
Well, okay. So what's the point of having that Bushra Bibi? You're saying what's the story of Bushra Bibi? She was an actress. She was a star. She was a star before becoming coming close to the God. So when God gave her the direction, then she moved into the line of spiritual practices and all. So Imran Khan used to take her advice. He used to go there, and then they got married, and definitely she tells Imran to recite few things. And if you have noticed, whether he was sitting in Washington or New York, he has that tasbih,
to text, the bead, prayer bead.
And he's always reciting things that keeps his nerves a little bit calm too, because he's a very aggressive person, and that makes him a little bit calm as well. So I mean, there's nothing wrong in that. I mean, it's part of it's like the degree of the closeness that you have with your Almighty. Maybe I'm not to that level, but maybe even he's not, and he's trying to become like what his wife is.
You want to become Maulana Imran Khan?
Not Maulana Imran Khan, but his wife is spiritual. So she keeps praying. She keeps praying for him, and I mean, there's nothing wrong. That's a personal choice. Anybody has a right to practice whatever degree of religion they want to practice. Let them practice.
What about this now? This Maulana Fazlur Rahman. He suddenly popped up, and now he says there's going to be a march against the government. Who is he?
Well, he's not. He did not pop up all of a sudden overnight. He was not. He's one of the crooks of the country, actually, I would say. And the more you hear about him, and the more you see news about him, and you got to know, and he's becoming popular. We all say that it's also his rally and all that stuff is funded by some foreign hands.
Is the army
India.
Is the army
is not supporting. No, army is not supporting. It's India who is supporting.
That's the first time I'm hearing of
this. because see,
well, that's a new thing, then. Okay.
Of course, I mean, who would be supporting the opposition?
But then that would mean Bajwa will become more powerful. If India supports Fazlur
Rahman has been there in the country from the time of Nawaz Sharif and Benazir Bhutto time. He has been there in the government for past 20-25 years.
Okay.
He wants to be in the government. He secures 10-12 seats from the area where he has pockets of madrasas and the people who are not so educated, and he gets those seats from there. But now what happens, and what he does, he does exactly the same thing. He gives away the projects to foreign companies, pockets the commission, and make money. So what has happened now, Imran Khan has stopped all that business. And that's why everybody's upset. Not only him, his own existing MPs and the MNAs.
Same thing happened in India. Modi has stopped the sort of patronage of many people, so they are very upset.
That's why you will see a lot of people are just saying, we want to resign ourselves because we don't make money. We came to our countries, India, Pakistan. We have seen our country. It's not like here.
Rulers come to loot.
We see elections here too. I mean, it's all free and fair elections process going on. I mean, between the three parties, Liberals, Conservative, and NDP, and the leaders are very transparent. Have you ever seen speeches being delivered by Nawaz Sharif, Imran Khan, and the third party standing, Alda Hussain, and saying, this is what my policy is. The leadership debate that we saw, of
And
Justin
then
Trudeau
shaking hands after that.
and shaking hands, conservative. Though they were saying you're a phony, you're a fraud, and all that, to the prime minister who was just
that's because the basic policy of the country will not change. Whoever comes to power here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now coming to the PTI.
Yeah. Let me finish the Fazlu part.
Okay.
So what Fazlu is trying to do is
you call him Fazlu.
We call him Fazlu, and his name is Fazlur Rahman.
Yeah, Fazlu.
Well, PTI has named him Diesel because he makes money on the diesel contracts.
Yeah, I know about this.
So that's
and it's Pajero.
Pajero and all that. So basically, what he's trying to do is he wants to lock down the country to make it a point. This could have been, bought by the audience and the public there if it has happened well before this United Nations speech. His timing is wrong, actually. Yeah. It would be a different situation if he would have done it before, right after the Washington visit. If he would have done that, maybe his Imran Khan's position would be weakened, and there could be different things, situation. But now, after the United Nations speech, what has happened in the among the world leaders, whether it has impacted India or the world leaders, that's a different story. But what has happened in Pakistan, he has gained more popularity, and he became the true ambassador of Islam. And the allegation of becoming the Jew agent was from Fazlur Rahman.
Oh, I see.
He is the one who initiated that. And that narrative has been, demolished and diluted, basically.
So this you represent the PTI in Canada, or what's it called? Overseas Friends of PTI, or PTI or overseas office? What is it called?
Well, if you look at it, Pakistan Tehreek-e-Insaf has overseas chapters.
Okay.
Right. I am the one who was the only Canadian Pakistani who went to Pakistan and contested elections for Imran Khan. Back in 2013.
You contested?
I contested. And I played with fire that time because you know what, the constituency that I got had on one side Taliban, other side MQM, and both are fascist parties, with weapons and firearms. So I had to wear that 4.5 kilo bulletproof jacket, and I did a lot of speeches and all that stuff. Managed to get the runners-up position, not the top slot.
And you escaped with life.
So my wife didn't allow me to contest when I was 18.
Right.
And things went on. So I've been associated with this party for the past 10 years, and I proudly feel myself associated with them.
Officially allowed, isn't it? This is not an official. It's not allowed in Canada. I mean, foreign political parties cannot keep offices here.
Historically, when this party came into power, there are chapters which is allowed. Yeah. They have tax receipts and all. They used to just do fundraisers.
Okay.
To collect the money, party funds, and this fund, that fund, and they pass it on.
There's overseas friends of the BJP. There are other groupings also, like
other groups also.
Congress and
So things have changed. So what we are trying to do now is the elections are going to happen here because it's a democratic party. It's not like somebody is being appointed right away, People's Party or PML, and then, okay, you are the president of this party in Canada. PTI is going to have elections, inter-party elections. They're going to happen sometime in November, right? And their membership drive is going on, and people are working towards it. And definitely I'm taking part in that as well, because I don't see myself going back. My family is here. If I would have struggled, after 2013, definitely I would be part of the government. So I have to contribute myself, wherever I am residing. So if I reside here in Canada, that I would like to definitely contribute to this party, from here. And what we can do here, there are 4 broad things. And I can tell you from here, Canada, what overseas Pakistanis can do. There are 4 things, which is investment. I call it.
That's true, yeah.
ITRUE. So investments back there, not only restricted to real estate that people try to secure themselves, park their money in real estate back there in Pakistan. They can do investments in 5 million houses that he has promised. Imran Khan, there are small industries. He said 100 industries will open up. They've got cement factories, steel mills, and kitchen, bathrooms. Everything has to be done. So these people could invest. If they can buy Shangri-Las and expensive condos here and invest money here, they can invest money there too. People have money. I'm talking about people who have money. Second point is the tourism. Kartarpur border has opened up.
Yeah.
A lot of interest has been seen by the Sardar community, and that could be the religious tourism, what you call packaged by the scenic tourism, which is beautiful.
Yeah.
Then you have got third element, which is R is remittances. A lot of money goes illegally, which is through hundi system and non-banking channels.
Stop that.
If that stopped, that is $20 billion. $20 billion comes all over the world legally, and 20 billion comes illegally. So if you try to just get 3-4 billion from there, you don't have to go to UAE and US to give 1 billion. You already have their money.
And not just more billions to return to China.
Absolutely.
The debt is mounting.
Debts are public debts, circular debts. There are so many debts mounting up, and it has mounted over the period of time. Like from Musharraf time, 4 billion, it has reached to 90 billion in these two governments, past government. Now he's trying to put pressure on people, bringing, people are complaining about expensive prices and all that stuff, but at the expense of, he took a package of IMF, but he doesn't want to go to IMF to get more loans, give an instant relief, bring the dollar down artificially. He said, let's go organic. So people, he already told in his manifesto that people would have problems and tax collection. So let me come back to for 2 more points. U is for unity. Right, unity in the community, which is missing. There are small groups. Everybody's trying to do something, trying to bring difference, but nothing is happening. There has to be some kind of a synergy. All the groups joining together, have a control on media, have a control on the small groups, and do something for Pakistan. Last point is the exports. Bring the manufacturers here and showcase your product.
How strong is the Pakistani community here, Canada?
There are now about 600,000. I would say 500 to 600,000 Pakistanis reside in Canada, and it is significant. Like Indians are about 1.5 mil all over Canada. So Pakistanis are half of them, and Indians have done a great job by having their what you call 4 ministers or 3 ministers, and 10, 12 MPs and 25 MPPs, and and number of councillors, whereas Pakistan has only 2 MPs. Why? Because there's no unity. Everybody is, fighting against each other.
Some are with Fazlur, some are with Imran.
Fazlur, no, not Fazlur. Within the community also, even irrespective of the parties, they're trying to pull legs of each other because they don't want, they see other party excelling, just try to pull the leg.
How many are with Hafiz Saeed?
Hafiz Saeed, right?
How many are with Hafiz Saeed and Masood Al-Azhar? How many are with them?
Well, Hafiz Saeed is another point.
Character, isn't it?
He's a character that India is too much,
he's a joke.
About.
He's a joke.
Hue and cry about that Hafiz Saeed.
That's all to show to the media.
But there are a whole bunch of other things that we need to address. Hafiz Saeed is just one element,
I know.
right?
Dawood Ibrahim, well, it could have been solved, these questions could have been solved a long time ago, but that's continued.
I mean, look at, for example, this Kasab did, got the, what you call, punishment there, right? For all the Mumbai attacks and all that stuff. They were blaming that, he was...
And Pakistan said he's not our citizen.
And he was not actually, and it was being blamed. But what we're saying is, Kulbhushan Yadav is Indian spy and in India, and the courts have given him, the death penalty, but they have appealed in the international court to have a savior.
Yeah. Because India does not accept that he's a spy.
Because he's part of the Navy.
He's retired.
Retired afterwards, right?
They don't know what the truth is. Truth is somewhere in the middle.
The truth is that for us, he's a terrorist and he's a spy. And for you, he's a saint.
He's not a saint. He's a commander in the Navy, means he's something very high up somewhere.
Pakistanis are
I think that's
I think, but last point I was going to say, I mean, we are not that, devils that you guys think of Pakistanis.
And neither are Indians who are devils.
We don't think Indians as devils. We have good friends. I mean, we share commonalities. And we look at who has banned all the organizers here in Canada who are bringing Pakistani programs and who are bringing Indian stars. They said, you don't want to work with Pakistanis. They have stopped the contracts with all the Pakistani artists and celebrities. They're not allowed to go there.
In India?
In India.
But then Pakistan has banned Indian films. Pakistan has cut off even the diplomatic links now.
Diplomatic, of course. They had to bring ambassadors back from India, Delhi and all because of this Kashmir situation.
No, Pakistani ambassador is still there in India. But the Indian ambassador is not allowed in India.
Yeah. Now, one point which I wanted to say is, Abhinandan matter after Pulwama attack. Abhinandan was there, and he was the plane was shot down, and he was just given away without any.
Not given away. There was a lot of international pressure. Trump and Putin and Trump had warned, release him now. That's what happened. Otherwise,
not
no,
really.
it is under pressure. It is released. Not
under pressure. Everything,
not because of his love for India. Come on.
Within 12 hours, the pressures came,
Yes.
and Imran Khan
And the Saudi prince. Saudi prince himself called Imran and said, release him now. We don't want any further aggravation.
For sure, those things happened, but it was the initiative of Imran Khan government and initiative of Pakistan
So can take credit for that.
to release him, and within the 12 to 15 hours time. I mean, they're not that bad.
Anyway, thanks a lot.
Thank you so much.
Very interesting.